Hi, I'm Steve Younis. Welcome to the Speeding Bulletin, your Superman news video recapping the events of the week July 1st to July 7th, 2016. Our top news stories this week included: we mourn the death of Noel Neill, who passed away aged 95. Julian Lewis-Jones has been cast in a role for the Justice League movie. And the Superman homepage has been relaunched with a total new design. Let's check out these news stories and more in this week's Speeding Bulletin. In movie news, Julian Lewis-Jones, who plays the role of Carl on Stella, has been cast in an as yet unknown role for the upcoming Justice League movie. He told Wales Online, "I'm not allowed to say yet what part I play, but let's just say I have a role in what will likely be the most expensive film ever made." To promote the upcoming release of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition on Blu-ray and DVD, Warner Bros. Has posted a fourth BVS 101 video, this one titled Superman, giving us a closer look at DC Comics' most important icon, the very first superhero of them all.
Superman was introduced in 1938 as a nigh invulnerable alien refugee with the ability to leap tall buildings in a single bound and lift objects that would crush a normal human. Dedicated to protecting the city of Metropolis from those who would exploit its people, he was a rough and tumble social vigilante who took on gangsters, profiteers, and even bad husbands.
Fans of the movie Batman v Superman will be able to visit Heroes Park, the public park in Metropolis that was built during the aftermath of the so-called Black Zero event, when they attend San Diego Comic-Con this month. According to the official website, one of the external attractions outside the San Diego Convention Center is the Warner Bros. Batman v Superman fan experience at the Omni Hotel. Fans can visit Heroes Park at the Omni for the ultimate Batman v Superman experience. The Batmobile will also be on display, and there will be exclusive giveaways and a daily scavenger hunt. Superman homepage contributor Jeffrey Taylor scored an interview with Lawrence Fishburne, who plays Perry White in Batman v Superman. When asked whether he took any inspiration from any previous actors who played the role, he said John Hamilton from the 1950s TV series was an inspiration, saying, "I loved that whole Great Caesar's Ghost thing, that was hilarious." The historic Cassidy Inn, which was the location for the scene in Man of Steel where Clark Kent is working as an employee when a patron spills beer over his head, has been destroyed when the entire building went up in flames on July 4th. The Cassidy, located just south of Nanaimo, Canada, was originally a coal miners' hotel and in later years a biker bar and lastly a movie set. Filmmaker Casey Baker has released his 20-minute short fan film titled Superman Meets Batman. It has great production values and is definitely worth a watch. In TV news, it was with great sadness that I reported this week that Noel Neill passed away on July 4th, aged 95. Noel was the first actress to embody the role of Lois Lane in the 1948 and 1950 Superman serials. She would return to the role after the first season of the Adventures of Superman TV series, a role that made her a household name. Noel would forever be linked to the world of Superman and Lois Lane, returning to participate in various incarnations of the story, from appearances in Superman the movie, the Superboy TV series, Jerry Seinfeld American Express Superman commercials, and to play the role of Gertrude Vanderwerth in the 2006 movie Superman Returns. Noel was one of the kindest people you could ever have wanted to meet. She loved her fans and always took time out to talk to them. She will be greatly missed. David Harewood, the actor who plays the role of Hank Henshaw, aka John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, on the Supergirl TV series, has revealed that the title for the show's first episode of the second season will be The Adventures of Supergirl. The actor who posted the title of the script online via his Instagram account. The CW network also announced that it will broadcast the entire first season of Supergirl on Monday night starting August 1st, with 2 episodes each week until the new season of Supergirl premieres on October 10th at 8 p.m. Warner Bros. TV revealed the 2016 designs for the San Diego Comic-Con hotel keycards, with Supergirl, The Flash, Arrow, Gotham, and DC's Legends of Tomorrow all featured on the different designs. Nearly 40,000 branded room keys will be available to fans at nearly 40 participating hotels, courtesy of Warner Bros. Worldwide Television Marketing. The CW and Netflix announced a partnership to exclusively host the network's catalogue on Netflix. The deal, which mentions Supergirl, will also see new seasons appear on Netflix a mere 8 days after the season finale. In comic book news, a new DC All Access video shows writer Brian Hitch talking about Justice League Rebirth #1 and the new villains the world's greatest superheroes will be facing in the new series. Hitch also discusses Superman's role in the Justice League.
Batman trusted his Superman, but he doesn't know this guy. Batman is always looking for a reason, so the fact that there was a Superman there all along, behind the scenes, he says that's intent, that's purpose. He doesn't know whose it is, but he knows there's something behind that, and that means that until he knows what that is, he's not going to trust him.
In 1990, the first non-American Superman graphic novel was published exclusively by a Swedish publisher and has never seen reprint in America or elsewhere since it was published. It was titled Superman og Fredsbomben, which translates into Superman and the Peace Bomb. In a recent interview with Norwegian.com, artist Teddy Christensen recalls how the project was born, saying, "It was Superman's 50th anniversary in 1988, and for the first time DC allowed overseas publishers to do their own interpretation of the character." You can read more about this at our website news item dated July 4th. Comic books we reviewed this week included Justice League #52, which was reviewed by T.A. Hewitt, who gave it a 3 out of 5 score, saying, "The fascination with Lex Luthor as a hero is perplexing." Adventures of Supergirl Chapter 12 was also reviewed by T.A., who gave it a 2 out of 5, saying, "It's fine to take the focus off Supergirl, but this portion reads closer to a conclusion rather than a penultimate chapter." T.A. also reviewed Injustice Year 5, Chapter 28, saying, "The story rings false, the execution is diaphanous, and the series is just hollow," and he gave this a 1 out of 5. Superman comics available this week from July 6th include Injustice Year 5, Chapter 29 digital comic has been available since July 5th, Action Comics 957 second printing, Adventures of Supergirl #5 print edition, Injustice Gods Among Us Year 5 #13 print edition, Justice League Rebirth #1, which is available in a variant cover, Superman #2, which is also available in a variant cover, Superman The Coming of the Superman #6, Superman The Golden Age Omnibus Volume 2 hardcover. Entertain yourself for hours with these fun Superman pinball games. Get the Sembro Batman v Superman Super Pinball for $81.65. Or how about these vintage 1997 Superman pinball games for just $14.99? These and other great Superman pinball games are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. In other news, the Superman homepage website has had a rebirth of its own. The website not only has a new design, but it has been completely rebuilt using a new system. We've also incorporated a more user-friendly experience for fans. While our news updates are displayed in a more concise layout, the news posts themselves now include many of the features you've been asking for. The ability to comment on news items is as you'd expect, but you can now also reply to comments and receive notifications when people reply to your comments. You can also like or dislike a news post and more easily share information across numerous social media platforms. So if you haven't already done so, check it out, supermanhomepage.com. The Superman homepage Super Trivia Quiz has been updated for another month. The 3 questions we're asking you this time around are: on a different Earth in the multiverse, there is a Superman who is President of the United States of America. What is the name this alternate version of Superman goes by? What is the title of the 2009 DC Universe original animated movie in which Lex Luthor is voted President of the United States of America? And which actor will play the President of the United States of America in Season 2 of the Supergirl TV series? If you think you know the answers to all 3 questions, head to supermanhomepage.com to submit your entry. You'll find the Super Trivia Quiz under the Favourites menu on our website. With DC Comics indicating that the Watchmen characters may have a deeper influence on the rebirth era of DC Comics, Graffiti Designs are bringing a series of t-shirt designs that mash together the Watchmen symbolism with classic DC character emblems. These San Diego Comic-Con exclusive t-shirts will only be available from booth 2314 during the convention. That's all the news there was for the week July 1st to July 7th. Hope everyone in America had a great 4th of July. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. It's good to see you. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Lois Lane. I feel like Amy Adams, as I said from the beginning, was not the casting that I would have went with for Lois Lane when we were casting Man of Steel a few years ago. It was kind of a surprising choice. Most people were up in arms because she had red hair. Well, you know, Noel Neill had red hair. She's been drawn as if she looks like she has red hair in a lot of different comics over the years. She's had brownish hair. She's had stark black hair. Never blonde, and never really definitively not red. So, you know, except when it was black or brown specifically. But there were, as I say, a lot of runs where it did look red, and Noel Neill's hair was red. Speaking of which, Noel Neill, frequent visitor to the Superman celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. She was there in 2008. When I was there, she took pictures with fans, she gave autographs, she talked to people. Very, very happy to be involved with the Superman community, and continued well into a time when many other actors would say, listen, I did the Superman show when I was much younger, and when it was something that I was doing for money as an actress. I'm not really interested in continuing that. Noel Neill was just a great normal citizen of Metropolis, and will be missed. She passed this week. She was 95, so she lived a long life, and again was very happy with her Superman stardom. Was very happy being a celebrity in the Superman universe, and was a great fan favorite. So it'll be unfortunate that the next time I do make it to the celebration, Noel won't be there. She made it kind of a point to be there every year. I think she missed the last few due to frailty and illness. But again, great to have her as one of the actors to have been involved in the Superman world. Noel really embraced her role in the fan community and was loved for it. Back to Lois Lane. I thought Amy Adams has done wonders with the role. A lot of it is how it's written, a lot of it is how she is used, and I believe that the writers and Zack Snyder and Amy Adams and the situation with Lois in this new DC universe with Man of Steel and now, of course, Batman v Superman have really made it a concentrated, important effort to make Lois a strong female character, someone with a lot of determination, and who knows what she wants and goes after it and is active in the story and important to the plot line, has a lot to do, and isn't just a gold digger whom I have said many times certain renditions of Lois are. I believe that the Margot Kidder version of Lois in the Donner film was really just a girl who was interested in Superman because he was Superman. There was no particular connection other than the fact that he's a hot guy who has superpowers and he came to my balcony, and I sure wish I could be with a hot guy with superpowers. Somebody's going to take that little sound nugget and use it for different things, I'm sure. But I didn't really feel like she had a lot of integrity necessarily, or a lot of use in the story other than to be a damsel in distress, which is funny because that's how they talked about Amy Adams' Lois Lane in the Man of Steel movie, which I thought couldn't be further from the truth. She had a very important role. She met Clark because she was searching down his story and decided not to report on it, decided not to tell about him, showing that she had a lot of integrity. She understood his plight. She was very sentimental to what he was going through, and eventually, throughout the movie, they fell in love, as opposed to Clark seeing Lois in the newsroom and loving her instantly, or Lois loving him because he had superpowers. And here we have a very active character throughout the plot of Batman v Superman. She has a lot to do. She's very important. I've seen memes about, has no idea that Doomsday will be affected by kryptonite, but dives in the water anyway to get it. She's intelligent. She knows it came from the Kryptonian ship. She knows it's got something to do with Krypton. And, okay, she could be wrong. It's possible. But she's pretty bright, and she thinks she's not, and she sees that the heroes are going to have a difficult time. Wonder Woman's barely keeping them down. Superman's done a bunch of things that have been ineffective. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to win otherwise, so she's hoping, and she happens to be correct, and it makes sense. She made a series of deductions and decided that that was the case. She dives in the water to get it, and needs to be rescued by Superman, which could expunge my argument that she's not just a damsel in distress. She is in distress at times throughout this movie and throughout Man of Steel, but mainly because she's doing things that are very integral to the plot and to help in the situation, as opposed to just falling into a crater in San Francisco and being buried by rubble in an earthquake. When she was out pursuing some sort of a story, but it didn't really have that much to do with what was going on. in this movie and in Man of Steel, she's in the plot. She's important. She's integral. She meets Jor-El in Man of Steel. She learns how to help Superman defeat the Kryptonians. Without her input, that wouldn't have happened. And in this movie, without her being involved with the Kryptonite Spear, we would be able to say that her times in distress were just to be there so that Superman could save her. Also, she's in the very important opening scene, which kind of sets the tone for people having a problem with Superman. He does rescue her. She is in distress in that moment. But that's what Lois Lane does. She does chase down stories. So even in the Donner film, she was chasing down a story and got into some trouble. And Superman eventually came to save her too late after she was dead and then turned back the world, which was a big event. Donner said himself he wanted to show something that he's Superman. He should be able to do this kind of a thing. It's caused a bit of controversy among Superman fans. I don't personally like it. But it is a very huge thing that he does at the end of the movie. It's a great big set piece. Unfortunately, I think it hurts credibility in terms of when people are hurting in the future, because why doesn't he just do that every time? But Lois Lane and Amy Adams play a great role in this. I think they use her to a great extent. Martha also has a very large role to play, and when this movie was announced, who would have known or thought that Martha would even have space in the movie with all of the characters that were in. Alfred being in there, Perry's in there, Lois is in there, and we've got the big battle. But Martha is important to the story because, of course, Lex Luthor captures her. We'll talk about some of the problems with that in the next piece I do, which is issues. But Martha is there, needs to be rescued. It also leads to a big point at the end of the fight where, again with the memes, everybody's, finds out his mother has the same name and suddenly they're best friends, but obviously we all know that's not the case. It was about seeing his humanity and seeing a little bit of himself in Superman in that moment, knowing that his mother was going to die and seemingly being unable to do anything about it. And Batman realizes that he was wrong all along. So Martha has a very pivotal role to play as well. She is more traditionally the damsel in distress in this film, but it's also very needed and a very important part of the plot. It's not just she falls off a bridge and Superman saves her or something, or is pushed off of a building and Superman saves her. That, of course, was a diversionary tactic that Lex uses so that Superman doesn't know something's up with Martha. So the women in the movie play a very important role. They're both very strong-willed. They both are very determined. They both have a very important part to play in this new universe. I'm not sure that we're going to see Martha again moving forward unless we see some standalone Superman movies, which I hope we do. But I think that the women, of course with Wonder Woman, who I've already spoken about being such a huge presence in the movie, and going forward we've got her movie to look forward to, the women have been used to a very good degree in these movies, to where other movies maybe they're not as strong, or they're not as integral to the plot, or they're not as important to the life of the lead character, Superman, where they really have a lot to do with who he is and what he thinks and how he keeps his hope, even in some times of the bleakness, which people have had a problem with how down and depressed he was. But I mean, the whole world was against him. Think about how you feel at times when your boss yells at you, or when your mom doesn't like something that you did, or your wife is angry. You're pissed off and throwing things and showing up late to work, and that's only a couple little things in your tiny life. Whereas Superman had the whole world on his shoulders, and seemingly everybody was against him, and terrible things kept happening, and he seemed helpless to figure out why or to do something about it. So he had a lot to think about, and yes, he was a bit down at times, but he had his love, Lois Lane, to kind of help steer him in the right direction and hopefully uplift him a little bit, and that exactly is what happened. So I think Lois, and I think Martha, and I think obviously Wonder Woman, and going forward hopefully we'll see other strong women. I think they've done a great job, whereas in the past I have seen times where a great job was not what I would say how the women were handled. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon. Remember, everyone, always look up in the sky. She knows it's got something to do with kryptonite. Slipped my mind the last 2 times, silly me. I guess I gotta give you part 3 of my confessions.